Let me ask you something, not as a celebrity, not as a TV host, not as a man who made it out of struggle and sleeping in cars, but as someone who learned the hard way what life really demands of you. Who are you when the applause stops? Who are you when the lights go out? Who are you when nobody's standing behind you to cheer, clap, or validate you? Because let me tell you something, right now your real life doesn't happen when people see you. Your real life happens in the private corners nobody ever hears about. It happens in those moments when your thoughts are loud, your doubts are louder, and the easiest thing in the world is to choose comfort over character. I remember a time, way before the fame, before the shows, before any blessing came my way, when I was broke, sitting in my beat-up car with a coat over my lap to survive the cold nights. And I kept thinking, Steve, nobody sees you right now. Nobody knows your dreams. Nobody knows your pain. What you do tonight, that's who you are. And in that dark parking lot, with nothing but the sound of my own breathing and the weight of the world on my shoulders, I made a decision that became the foundation of my entire life. I will not give up on myself when nobody is watching. That choice, right there alone, unseen, became the reason I'm standing where I am today. So today, I want to take you on a journey, a long one, a deep one, a real one. 7 truths, not steps, not rules, not motivational quotes, but living, breathing moments of transformation. Moments that'll reach inside you and pull out the courage you forgot you had. And each of these truths is built on one idea. The choice you make when nobody's watching is the choice that builds your destiny. Let's begin. Choice to show up for yourself when you feel empty. There comes a moment in every person's life where the weight of the world sits heavy on their chest and the silence in their room feels louder than any stadium crowd. It's that moment where you wake up and the very act of pulling yourself out of bed feels like moving mountains. No motivation, no inspiration, no energy. Nothing inside you feels like it's enough. And that right there is the moment life is watching you closer than it ever has, even if you feel like nobody sees you. This step is the foundation of everything you will ever build, because there will be countless times when you're not going to feel powerful. You're not going to feel confident. You're not going to feel ready. People think success comes from momentum, passion, excitement, support. But let me tell you the real truth, success is built on the days you feel empty and you choose to show up anyway. Those are the days that define you. Those are the days that mold your character. Those are the days that test your commitment to yourself. You don't become strong because you always feel strong. You become strong because you act even when you feel broken. You don't build discipline because life is easy. You build it because life knocks you down and you get up again. Showing up when everything inside you says, stay down, is one of the hardest things you will ever do. But it is also the most important. When I was sleeping in my car night after night, I didn't have motivation. I didn't have inspiration. I didn't have some magical energy pushing me forward. I had exhaustion. I had fear. I had doubt sitting in the back seat with me. And yet, every morning, I had to make a choice to stay broken or try again. Nobody saw me brushing myself off. Nobody saw me fighting through tears. Nobody saw me choosing potential over pain. But those silent mornings, they were the birthplace of every blessing that came later. People see the success, but they don't see the nights I asked myself if I was good enough. They don't see the moments I felt like quitting. They don't see the days I had to show up even though I felt like I had nothing left. You may be in that place right now. You may be tired. You may be discouraged. You may be running on fumes, wondering if forward is even worth it. But here's the truth, your future does not care how tired you are. It only cares if you keep going. Your destiny isn't shaped by the days you're full. It's shaped by the days you feel empty, yet still choose to rise. The world only celebrates your victories, but those victories are built on the mornings you push through pain, silence, and doubt. Showing up for yourself starts with one promise: I will not abandon myself, not even on my hardest day. And you have to repeat that promise over and over again. Because when you show up for yourself in your weakest hours, you're telling life, I'm not done yet. You're saying, I still have fight in me. You're proving that your dreams mean more to you than your comfort. Showing up is not about perfection. It's not about feeling good. It's about choosing progress when comfort is calling your name. It's about taking responsibility for the life you want, even when the life you're living feels nothing like it. It's about saying, I may not be okay right now, but I'm still moving. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. Nobody will applaud you for these moments. Nobody will reward you for these moments. Nobody will even know they happened. But years from now, when your life looks different, when your blessings arrive, when your dreams start unfolding in front of you, you'll know exactly why. You'll know it came from days like this. Days where you didn't quit. Days where you showed up. Days where you decided that giving up was not an option. Not today. Not ever. This step is not glamorous. It's not easy. But it is necessary, because showing up for yourself when you feel empty is not just an action. It's a declaration. It's the moment you tell life, I am in this. I am committed. I am choosing myself even when everything in me feels weak. And that choice, made in silence, made in exhaustion, made in loneliness, becomes the loudest statement your life will ever make. It becomes the reason you rise. It becomes the reason you succeed. It becomes the reason your future opens its doors to you. Showing up when you feel empty is not a test of strength. It is the birth of the choice to hold your integrity. When temptation whispers, integrity is one of the most misunderstood qualities a person can have, because people think it's something you show to others. They think integrity is about reputation, about image, about looking like a good person in front of a crowd. But integrity has nothing to do with an audience. Integrity is who you are when the room is empty, when the world is quiet, and when every choice you make is invisible. Integrity is the voice inside you that says, do what's right, especially when nobody will ever know if you don't. In life, you will face moments where the wrong choice looks easy, fast, and comfortable. Moments where the right choice feels slow, painful, or inconvenient. That's when temptation shows up, not as something dramatic, but as something subtle. It whispers. It tells you nobody's watching. Nobody will find out. Nobody will judge you. And that whisper can be dangerous because it makes you forget that your life isn't shaped by people's approval. It's shaped by the decisions you make in the shadows. Integrity is the decision to hold yourself to a standard even when nobody else is checking. It's the commitment to be honest even when the lie would benefit you. It's the choice to stay loyal even when betrayal looks easier. It's the strength to say no when yes would give you the pleasure, the money, the shortcut, or the praise. Integrity is the part of you that refuses to sell your soul for a temporary reward. And let me tell you this, every person who ever tried to change their life faced this test. Every successful person you see today has stood at a crossroads where they had to choose between character and comfort. And most of those choices happen privately, quietly, without applause, without witnesses. Life watches those moments more closely than anything else because they reveal your truth. You can impress the world with your talent, but you earn blessings with your character. There were many moments in my own journey where I had opportunities to cheat the system, cut corners, or protect myself with a lie. And believe me, when you're broke, when you're desperate, when the world feels like it's against you, temptation becomes loud. It becomes persuasive. It becomes logical. You start thinking, maybe just this once. Maybe nobody will notice. Maybe this is what I have to do to survive. But every time you compromise your integrity, you take a step away from the life you want, even if it feels like a step forward in the moment. Integrity isn't something you choose because it makes life easier. You choose it because it makes life meaningful. When you hold your integrity, you protect your self-respect. You build trust with yourself. You create a foundation that nothing and nobody can shake. And that's something no shortcut can ever buy. You see, integrity is like a seed. It stays underground for a long time where nobody sees it. It takes patience. It takes discipline. It takes commitment. But when that seed finally grows, it becomes a tree so strong, so rooted, so steady that no storm can break it. And the people around you will look at your life, your success, your peace, and they'll think it happened overnight. They'll think you got lucky. They'll think doors opened for you magically. They'll have no idea that what they're looking at was built from years of choosing integrity when nobody was looking. Integrity brings a different kind of blessing, one that doesn't fade, one that doesn't need defending, one that doesn't keep you awake at night. When you live truthfully, you sleep peacefully. When you choose honesty, you walk freely. When you hold your character tight, you attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right future. Because the truth is, life will always give you what you deserve, not what you fake. If you lie, life lies back to you. If you cheat, life cheats you. If you betray, life withholds the very thing you're chasing. But when you choose integrity, even at a cost, even when it hurts, even when it slows you down, life repays you in ways you could never imagine. Integrity is the invisible currency of success. It's the quiet strength behind every great destiny. It's the silent decision that shapes your identity. And it's the proof that you're building something real, something lasting, something you won't be ashamed of years from now. So when temptation whispers, when shortcuts sparkle, when nobody is watching, and you feel that pull toward the easy way out, remember this: every choice you make in private becomes the life you live in public. Choose integrity. Choose the person you'll be proud to face in the mirror. Choose the truth, even when it costs you something. Because the world may never know the choice you made, but your future will feel it. And the blessings meant for you will find you, not because of who you pretended to be, but because of who you chose to be when nobody was watching. The choice to believe in your future when your present looks hopeless. There comes a season in everyone's life where your present reality feels so heavy, so impossible, so painfully slow that believing in your own future starts to feel like a childish fantasy. You look at where you are and it feels nothing like where you want to be. You look at your circumstances and they seem to laugh at your dreams. You look at the setbacks, the disappointments, the delays, and you start wondering if you were foolish for ever believing you could become something greater. This is the moment, right here, where most people lose themselves. Not because they don't have potential, not because they don't have heart, but because the present is so loud that it drowns out the quiet voice of the future calling them forward. Belief is not born in comfort. Belief is not built when everything is working. Belief doesn't grow in sunshine, it grows in rainstorms, in darkness, in confusion. Belief is forged when your reality gives you every reason to quit, but your soul refuses to let go. And the reason belief is so powerful is because it requires you to see past what your eyes can see. It requires you to trust something deeper than logic, louder than fear, stronger than doubt. It requires faith in the unseen. There were moments in my journey where nothing made sense. I was broke, sleeping in my car, standing on stages where people laughed instead of clapped. I wasn't winning. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't on the path to success, not from the outside. But deep down, even on my darkest nights, there was this tiny flicker inside me that refused to die. A whisper that said, "This is not the end of your story. Keep going." And the thing about belief is that sometimes that whisper is so small, so fragile, so quiet that you barely notice it, but it's still there. And that tiny thing, that's what becomes your future one day. Your present is temporary. It feels permanent, I know, but it's not. It's just a chapter, not the whole book. The mistake most people make is they judge their life based on one bad chapter. They think one setback means their dreams are impossible. They let one failure convince them they're not meant for greatness. But greatness is not measured by how easy your path is. It's measured by how much belief you carry when the path feels impossible. Believing in your future when everything around you looks hopeless is not naive. It's necessary. It's the foundation of resilience. It's the fuel for perseverance. It's the vision that pulls you through nights where your reality hurts too much to look at. Because without belief, your body might still move, but your spirit will slowly die. And let me tell you something, a dead spirit kills dreams long before circumstances do. Belief is not something that always feels strong. Sometimes belief looks like getting out of bed when depression tells you not to. Sometimes belief looks like applying for opportunities even after 10 rejections. Sometimes belief looks like smiling through your tears and saying, "One day, this pain will make sense." Sometimes belief is nothing more than surviving the day with the tiniest bit of hope left in your pocket. That's belief. That's strength. That's courage. And here's the beautiful thing about belief. You don't need the world to agree with you. You don't need your environment to support you. You don't need your circumstances to make sense. You don't need validation from anyone. You don't even need to have it all figured out. All you need is the decision to trust that something better is coming, even when everything looks wrong. When your present is dark, belief becomes the light. When your present is confusing, belief becomes the compass. When your present is painful, belief becomes the medicine. It gives you a reason to keep going, a reason to fight, a reason to try again. People often think faith is loud, powerful, dramatic. But most of the time, faith is quiet. It's a whisper in the middle of a breaking heart. It's a prayer spoken through tears. It's a promise you make to yourself. I won't let this destroy me. Your future is built long before you reach it. It's built in the moments where you choose belief over bitterness, where you choose hope over fear, where you choose to stand up after falling for the 10th time, where you choose to trust that life has more for you than what you see right now. And let me tell you this with all the truth in my heart. The people who win in life are not the ones who have the easiest path. They're the ones who keep believing even when the path disappears. They are the ones who hold on to faith even when logic says it's pointless. They are the ones who refuse to let their present circumstance dictate their future outcome. Your present might look hopeless right now. You might be tired, overwhelmed, scared, doubtful. But that is not the end. That is not your final chapter. That is not your destiny. The choice you make in this moment, to believe or to surrender, is the difference between a life that dies in the dark and a life that rises into the light. Believe anyway. Dream anyway. Hope anyway, because your future is waiting for you to believe in it, even when your present doesn't. The choice to fight your silent battles with courage, not shame. There is a part of life nobody teaches you about, a part nobody posts on social media, nobody talks about in public, nobody celebrates or applauds. It's the part of life where you face battles nobody knows you're fighting, the battles that happen behind closed doors, in the corners of your mind, in the quiet of your heart. These are the battles that don't come with warning labels, don't come with instructions, and don't come with applause. And yet, these are the battles that shape you the most. Because the truth is, everyone you know, every strong person, every successful person, every confident person has walked through silent battles that almost broke them. But here's the thing, silent battles don't destroy you. Shame does. Shame is the voice that whispers you're weak for struggling. Shame tells you nobody else goes through what you're going through. Shame tries to convince you that if anyone ever found out what you're battling, they'd judge you, abandon you, or think less of you. Shame isolates you. Shame convinces you to hide. Shame keeps you stuck in the dark places of your life because it makes you believe you don't deserve help, don't deserve compassion, don't deserve understanding. But courage, real courage, is choosing to stand up inside your pain instead of running from it. Courage doesn't mean you're fearless. Courage means you're willing to feel the fear, the hurt, the confusion, and still decide, I'm not giving up on myself, not today. Courage is not loud. Courage doesn't always look like strength. Sometimes courage looks like wiping your tears quietly and choosing to try again. Sometimes it's answering the phone when you don't feel like talking to anyone. Sometimes it's showing up to work with a broken heart. Sometimes it's just taking one breath at a time because the moment feels heavier than anything you've ever faced. See, people think warriors are built in battlefields. But the truth is, the strongest warriors are built in bedrooms where nobody sees the tears. They're built in bathrooms where you stare at yourself in the mirror, trying to convince yourself to keep going. They're built during late night drives where you scream or cry or pray, trying to release the weight inside your chest. Silent battles are the fires that shape your character. And the choice you make during those battles, the choice to fight with courage instead of hiding in shame, is the turning point of your life. You have to understand something. Pain is not your enemy. It's the signal that there's something inside you that needs healing, something that needs attention, something that needs your strength. But shame tries to make you ignore it. Shame tells you to bury it. Shame tells you to pretend you're fine. Shame makes you believe that struggling somehow makes you less worthy, less strong, less capable. But courage says, this struggle does not define me. My response does. Courage says, I'm allowed to hurt, but I'm not allowed to quit on myself. Courage says, I will face this storm even if my voice shakes. Courage is owning your battles without letting them own you. And let me tell you something powerful. Nobody has to know your battles for your courage to matter. You don't need witnesses to validate your strength. You don't need applause to confirm your growth, because the greatest victories in life happen silently. Nobody clapped for you when you survived heartbreak. Nobody celebrated you when you pulled yourself out of depression. Nobody applauded when you forgave someone who didn't apologize. Nobody saw the nights you sat alone fighting demons that were louder than your dreams. But you survived anyway. You stood anyway. You pushed anyway. And that is courage. You might be fighting something right now, something deep, something painful, something you've been carrying alone for too long. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's trauma. Maybe it's loneliness. Maybe it's disappointment. Maybe it's something you can't even explain. But listen to me, you don't get stronger by ignoring your battles. You get stronger by facing them, even if you have to face them trembling. You don't heal by pretending the wound isn't there. You heal by acknowledging it, tending to it, and refusing to let it control you. You don't grow by running from your storms. You grow by walking through them and discovering that you're more powerful than you ever knew. Every silent battle you fight is preparing you for a louder victory. The world may not see your struggle now, but one day they will see your strength. They will see your transformation. They will see the version of you who came from the fire and walked out shining. And they'll call it strength. They'll call it confidence. They'll call it growth. But you will know the truth. You'll know it was courage, the quiet kind, the brave kind, the kind that rises in darkness, the kind that chooses fight over shame. Because in your silent battles, you discover the strongest version of yourself, the version you were always meant to become.